Good evening all and welcome to another video on How the Ale. Tonight we are going to need this, the scoreboard of joy, because yes, we're doing another supermarket comparison. Which one are we doing tonight? Well, we are comparing two very well known IPAs. I say very well. If you look at the sheer numbers involved, they have got nearly 200,000 untapped check-ins between them. Which ones are we talking about? Well, we'll go for the smaller of the two in terms of check-ins at the moment. It's this one. Northern Monk's New World IPA, and it weighs in at 6.2% ABV. And the long-standing stalwart of the craft beer industry is this one, Jaipur. Jaipur is another IPA, and it weighs in slightly lower at 5.9% ABV. And I made mention of the check-ins on Untapped. My little aide-memoire here tells me that New World has 40,758 check-ins at point of review on Sunday, the something of October 20th, I think it is. September even. And Jaipur is sort of been around a lot longer, so therefore has knocking on for 150,000 check-ins, or 149,542 to be precise. Now these two, they haven't had the same score from me on Untapped, so it's not a case of separating the two. It's just bit of a fun comparison of the two beers, just to see the differences really of a similarly priced beer of the same style. So if we go back to my Untapped scoring, I can tell you exactly what I've given them. Jaipur in the can gets 4.75 out of 5 from me. If you get it on cask though, 5 out of 5. And New World in said can is also a 5 out of 5. I've not had it on anything other than the can, because I only got it during lockdown. And I've not been anywhere that's had it, and I don't plan to until it's a bit safer. Anyway, on Untapped, the two beers in question have the following average scores. So Jaipur has got an average across those 150,000, well, just shy of 150,000 check-ins of 3.63, and New World 3.72. So it's pretty close. My finding, I preferred New World in the can as I do Jaipur. The kind of stats add up. Jaipur is slightly lower than the New World overall, but obviously we are going for just a bit of fun, and we're going to compare the two and just kind of highlight the differences or similarities between them. So we're going to pour the New World into a Northern Monk glass. We're going to do that one first because it's the one closest to me. Switch hands. So the pour is dark gold with a little bit of haze. And a quality head. Is a good looking beer. Let's get its comrade out and see what we think. I want to get them poured close to the same time as possible. And we're pouring this one into a vocation glass. The pour is paler, clearer. Oh, that's close. So, comparison of the two. Totally different. The Jaipur is clear as a bell. The Northern Monk is hazy. It's darker in colour. The head was slightly more compact. It's sunk a little bit. And the nucleated glass of the vocation is allowing the carbonation to roll up, as you can see there, versus that one. Which looks better? Because that's what we're doing here. We're going to compare the looks. It's got to be the Northern Monk for me. It looks more chewy. It looks more exciting to drink. Both are good looking beers, but in different ways. So we're going to give the point for this one, for the looks, to the Northern Monk. 1-0 so far on the old scoreboard of joy. Next up, we're going for the Aroma, unsurprisingly. And we're going to start, though, with the Jaipur. It's light, it's clean, it's crisp, it's fresh. There's a little bit of sort of citrus, like a dark, bitter citrus. It's good. It's very good. New World, though, is it any different? Yeah, it's different. It's juicier. It's more piney. It's more hoppy. It is what it is. It is hoppier. It is more to my liking on terms of the aroma. And, you know, they're similar in style in the fact that they're IPAs, but they are quite differently delivered. I mean, as you can tell, you know, you've got an unfinished versus a finished beer. There's going to be a trade-off. You know, you're going to have some things left behind in the New World that aren't going to be present in the Jaipur. So yeah, there's bound to be some differences, and they're the same price though. You know, so weigh up for yourself. But for me, the Aroma win is for the Northern Monk beer, the New World. So now we come to a body test. We have to test the bodies of the beer, and we're going to go for the Jaipur first of all. It's medium. It's medium bodied, it's soft in the delivery. It's nice. New World. Ever so slightly softer. Similar kind of depth to that body. They're both middling. But the New World's just got a little bit more of a velvet type thing going on. It's not stout like velvet, but it's a little bit softer. Just a little bit more pillowy, shall we say. Can't believe I'm using words like pillowy to describe a beer. But there we are. Those are the times that we're in, ladies and gents. This crazy 2020 year is doing weird things to us. And to qualify the point for this one, you know, I'm looking for something that is not thin, you know, so depth will win. You're looking for mouthfeel as a preference. I have no real preference here, so I'm going to score this one a draw. You know, there's very little to tell between them. You know, it's purely personal preference. I have no real preference between the two. So we come to the important bit, the arguably the bit that you pay the money for. Let's be honest, the taste. So we're going to go for Jaipur. It's hoppy, it's clean, it's fresh. There is a bitterness to it. There's an orangey, pithy bitterness that's kind of leaning itself towards like a West Coast IPA style. It is a classic, and it's very different on cask to can and to bottle. Bottle and can are very similar, but cask is just so much more creamy. It's got everything. It's like the difference between driving a Porsche 924 and a balls to the wall 911, you know, that's rally prepped. The cask is the balls to the wall 911, and the can bottle version is the 924. You know, it's got the VW influence. It's good. It's very good. You would not kick it out of bed for eating crisps, but it's not the cask version. It's still very, very good. Like I said, West Coast in its approach. New World. It's bitter. Not quite the same bitterness as Jaipur. It's hoppier. It's greener. It's fresher. It's more unctuous. The fact that it's seemingly unfined just leaves behind all the little bits that taste good. It's more resinous. There is a definite pine resin bitterness going on here that you haven't got in the Jaipur. That's a pithy kind of grapefruity bitterness. Jaipur is that. New World is all about that hop oil, that lovely resin. Oh, and it's down to what you prefer. If this was a cask Jaipur versus this New World, the cask would win hands down, because there's just something about that delivery on cask that you just can't replicate anywhere else. But in this competition here, we're comparing exactly what we've got. We're not looking at the cask, we're looking at the can versions of these beers. And you all know those of you who watch my channel regularly, that I love to be smashed in the face with hops that are pine resin and bitter. And for that reason alone, the point goes to the Northern Monk, which means we have an unassailable lead at this point in time. You know, it's any point in time at this point, you know. It could have been a draw, it could have been a 2-2 draw with a decider on the body, but it's not going to happen, is it? Let's be honest. 3-0 with a draw. At the best, it's going to be, 3-1. Could be a 4-0 trouncing. Let's find out, shall we? We're going to go for the finish. We're going to go for the Jaipur. And for the finish, we're looking for the length of finish, the flavours that I prefer, and just the intensity. So, which one's going to win? Let that develop. It starts out smooth, bitter, orange. And that sounds weird, smooth and bitter at the same time. It's a smooth finish. Bitter orange sits there. It's like Cointreau in that sense. And then it fades into a malt. Very nice indeed. It's classic, it's clean, it's crisp. And yeah, that bittersweet bitterness at the beginning fades to sweetness at the end. Nice. Very nice indeed. New World. You start with that bitter resin. And you continue with that bitter resin. And you have some more of that bitter resin. It's longer, definitely. That intensity of that resin is just staying with me. I'm waiting for a change. Not really getting any. Still there. I love it. It's longer by a long shot. But the Jaipur is more complex. It changes, it evolves. It gives you something a little bit different to look forward to. And for that reason, I'm going to give the point to the Jaipur. So, yeah, we've got a 3-1 trouncing, but it's anyone's kind of opinion, really. You know, you might find different things about the beers that you like. This is not just to split them out. This is just for fun, you know, which I prefer. Yeah, in untapped scores, I prefer the old New World. It fulfills its brief. You know, it says on the can, it's hoppy, tropical and zesty. It says it right there on the side of the can. And it is exactly that. You know, it fulfills the brief nicely. It gives you exactly what it says, and it gives me, importantly, as the consumer, exactly what I want. It's hoppy, it's resinous, it's zesty, it's got everything that I want at a price I want to pay. And Jaipur, you know, whilst it didn't win this one, it's still an absolute banger of a beer. The scoreboard really doesn't reflect how good the beer is. You know, if you're out and about, one of my locals carries Jaipur as a regular beer up in, it's the Woodman up in Hanley in Stoke-on-Trent. It does carry Jaipur quite often, and it's always kept well. You know, if I'm in there, I will always have the Jaipur. Doesn't matter what else they've got on. They could have creme brulee from Beartown. They could have anything on, but I will always go for cask Jaipur if I see it. You know, both these beers are fantastic. You know, I'm not here to put one against the other and just to kind of piss on anyone's chips. You know, it's just for fun. So yeah, there we are. That, ladies and gents, has been it. We have a 3-1 win for the Northern Monk New World versus Thornbridge Jaipur. You might see it different. Let me know what you think. Have a good look at the scoreboard there. What would you change? How would you see it? Would you see Thornbridge's Jaipur winning in any way? Can for can? Not cask or anything like that? Let me know in the comments section down below. And on that point, ladies and gents, boys and girls, I'm going to go and drink the rest of these beers and say, this have been the beers. I've been Nick, and I will see you again soon for another video. Bye.